Hi, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the podcast, Money Matters. I am, of course, Mike Hill. I'm here with my partner, Casey Harding. And we have the power dual couple, Colton and Haley, the real estate gurus here in Midlothian. They own Better Together Real Estate and Next Home on Main. I knew it was Next Home Main something. I'm sorry. I can't remember the name of our podcast at the time. So I just know there's money and some matter. Get a lot of questions from clients. We're going to try to do more podcasts with guests and vice versa. And we've known each other for about 4.5, 5 years now.
Oh,
and I'm just so impressed with their marketing savvy and the power couple that they are. And they're raising the
real estate game here in Midlothian.
Absolutely. But I get clients all the time, with interest rates and all the things. So I was like, I don't know. I know people that do know, so let's bring them in and do a podcast, and hopefully this will be something that people get a little bit out of. So I'm going to be more of the, which may be very difficult, the guy that asks the questions as opposed to answering.
Joe Rogan.
So how do I do that? Because I'm the one that talks everybody's ears off. So as I've been told in some of the comments on the podcast, so I'm trying to do a little bit better. But again, thank y'all for coming. If y'all wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself, how long y'all been in the business, and all that kind of fun stuff.
Okay, well, didn't realize that we already knew each other for 5 years, so that made me go, whoa, I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then Casey, it's been like, what, over
2014.
10?
Yeah,
over 10, which is crazy. But I've been in real estate this will be my 12th year in the summer, which is also insanity. And then I'll have my broker's license for like 4 or 5 in the summer. So Colton joined me 6 years ago. This summer. This summer is big. 6 years ago this summer, and then we went out on our own. We started a property management company 3.5, almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
And he runs property management. I run the real estate brokerage, and that side it works well.
Yeah.
It took 6
Stay in
years.
our lanes.
It took 6 years to navigate all of that. But we got all that, and then we just started, running from there. I said, quit your job and come join me in real estate. And then he said yes. And
it's worked.
Sort of how that happened. It has worked, yeah.
So
a little bumpy time.
It's been really good. So we had the brokerage for like 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's been really fun.
How many people do you have working under y'all? How many real estate agents do
So
you have?
in property management, it's just Colton and Kelsey, and that's more individual. And then within the brokerage, we have 4 locations. Okay. And in those locations, we are at like 33 agents right now, I think.
So I didn't know how many agents. I knew they had 4 locations.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get that out because I didn't want this just to be Midlothian and Ellis County only, featured. It's kind of like what's going on in all the different areas and all the different hodgepodge that we have here in Texas. So anyway, so 33 agents. We've got 2 and a couple of assistants over there, so we're trying to do that. But no, well, thank you for that introduction. Y'all truly are good friends on top of just being one of the people. If I was going to call anybody for real estate in town, y'all would be it, because just how factual y'all are, how much y'all use data, and how personable you are. I feel at ease for you. So refer them and go nuts, everybody.
Yes, do that.
So I'll just jump into it. What do y'all kind of, here it is, it's spring, summer. I get asked this all the time.
It's selling season.
It's selling season.
It's always selling
Last
season.
week was the prime week from what I understand of when to list your home. Is this not right?
I actually think today's the best.
Oh, okay. Well,
If you got a house and you want to sell it, today's the day.
All right.
Yeah, we're throwing a new car. Let's go. I feel like I'm in a
As a matter of
commercial.
fact, I'll sell yours today and I'll help you buy one today too.
Oh, man.
That's really nice of
Full
you.
service.
You got a guy I am.
Full service over here.
What do y'all see compared to like last year? I know with the interest rates going up, everybody, because I'm looking to try to build a house pretty soon. I think Casey is too. It's just the mortgage lenders are like, we look at the 10-year treasury on our side of the business, and it just never comes down, and we know that's what the mortgages are based on. So what are y'all seeing? What are trends? And then we'll get into strategies and things that might be able to help the general public on our side.
Yeah.
So right now the mortgage rates are sitting right around 6 3/4. Ideally, we're going to see those trend down slowly. They jump too big, we got a problem. We don't want a huge flood, but a little bit lower, a little bit closer to 6, and we should start seeing real movement in that direction, right?
And then it
People
has
getting
to
back in
stay
the
there.
market.
Right.
Yeah, it has to stay there for enough time for the buyers to realize that it's really there.
Well, even if you think like back when COVID hit and interest rates fall to the floor, everybody just kind of stops for a moment. They're like, what is going on? And it took about 30 to 60 days for everybody to go, okay, this is real.
Yeah.
And then duffel bags of cash started coming out of
Out of
places.
everywhere.
And it's like, you get a house. You get a house. Oh, you had more money. You get a house. And like, we don't want that, right? But being in a position where they stay steady for long enough, the consumer really adapts to that and goes, okay, we can live here. And eventually it will trend a little further down, but we can get in a good spot and then refinance down the road and really be where we want to be.
Yeah, because it's still a process. And I think that, like, when you're thinking about it, if you're interested in buying real estate, whether you want it today, in the next 6 months, that's a goal for this year, you need to go ahead and start the process and start getting qualified. Because just because the rate is there today doesn't mean it's going to be there tomorrow. And it's a process. If the rates drop tomorrow and you've done nothing to get ready, you can't take advantage of it.
And you're going to have a flood of people that already ready.
Yeah. So it's really important to strategize that and come up with when you want to do it, what does it look like, and then when that rate drops or where it's like where you want to be or we find the right deal to structure, you can jump. But trying to get in the day that the rates drop, that's why we say 30 to 60 days. The buyer has to see that it's really out there, get pre-approved, go find the house, close on the house. I mean, it's still a process.
It is really cool though, because now we have more inventory than we've had
That's
since
what I was going to
I've been.
ask. Because that's kind of nationwide. I've heard
Yeah.
inventories are 20-year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so-
we have more inventory than we've ever had in my time, right? So at least in the last about 5-6 years. And it's always been, you didn't necessarily have as much time, right? You find a house, you look at it, and you always tell them, don't sleep on it. And it sounds salesy, but at the time it was don't sleep on it because literally they're
It won't
very
be here.
in an
it won't
hour.
Yeah.
be here, very
Yeah.
long. So now we're in a position where homes are taking a little bit longer to sell. Like average days on market is like 65, 70 days.
Okay.
And so when you're
That's still
looking
not bad.
at
That's
it,
less than 3 months.
yeah. I mean, but compared to
Compared to 2 weeks.
5 minutes
Yeah.
from the ground and now it's gone, right? It's a different story. But being able to work with buyers like the ones we have today, we've shown for 3 or 4 weeks, and we're seeing 2 or 3 houses at a time. We're talking about them. What are the things that really matter? And it's drilling down to where they actually want to be. And so now you have some options. You can't wait for 2 months to go buy that one house you saw 2 months ago, but you have time to really make sure it's the house you want.
Yeah.
I think interesting. Sorry, Casey. An interesting question that I had from a client, and this is one I wanted to definitely pass on to y'all was interest rates have been around this for about 12 months now. Even though the Fed lowered 3 times last year, didn't really affect interest rates on the mortgage and the lending side. But so the rates have been around the same. Inventory is higher. What are y'all seeing price wise? Because I have no idea, but from the outside looking in, it feels like prices haven't really come down at all. And when you hear highest inventory we've had in 20 some odd years, and everybody's just kind of sitting on the fence, taking longer to buy, 85 days on the market or whatever it may be. Our prices, what's keeping prices where they? I mean, we don't want them to go down if we own houses, but people that are looking to buy for their build, we're like, sorry, hate that for y'all. Go down a little bit, it'd be great,
Yeah.
So.
So the thing is if you've been in your house for any amount of time, 5+ years, right? So if you didn't sell your house during COVID, you still have all the equity built up.
Yeah.
So we can't get so consumed on the idea that I have to have the highest value in the market.
Yeah.
Because you've already built up all your equity. So we really try to talk through and strategize. What is your goal with this property? What are we trying to do? And then let's find the price that's going to match that. Do you have to be out tomorrow? That's this price.
Yeah.
Do you have 6 months?
That's this price.
That's this price. Are we trying to set up this, and this? Are we going to try to maybe get 1031? Are we going to try to maybe turn it into an investment property? What is the actual goal to help us set that price? So there's a range that you're going to fall on no matter what.
Well, what are you seeing on the average? Or, I mean, just across the board, not just y'all. Like you're looking up MLS and you see 1,000 houses. The average, has the price come down, stayed the same as a year ago, or I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
according to the stats, it's like almost identical.
Yeah.
Okay.
To last year.
So that's cheaper than a year ago because you have inflation and everything else.
And so it's kind of crazy because when you're looking at the stats, and don't worry, I made graphs that we can pop up on here for everybody because y'all know me. And so,
I don't know they're higher. Trust me.
Yeah. But I mean, it looks like they're just about the same. So it's funny because like if you look at Midlothian, it's like almost identical, maybe like 10,000 off.
That's crazy.
Same thing in Ellis County, but as the entire MLS, it's about 15 under. And so they're going down a little bit, but not so much. Like, it's kind of, I think in my brain, since we were in the market during all the COVID stuff, that's when the massive shift looks like in my brain now, right? Where it's just like pure crazy. We're not seeing that the opposite way.
Come on.
Like, you know,
inventories were at historic lows.
Yes.
And you
And
look at
so-
that average across the board and you go, well, in 1 year's time, you saw roughly 30% increase in a year. So if you're a
Spend that over
homeowner-
5 years, that's still 6% a year.
Exactly. And so if you think that, right, and you take that and you go, okay, well, what does that mean to me today? What it means is that even if I say went 10% under in that value, I'm still, 23 and some change percent positive because I still had the 3 years, 3% year over year.
And this is why I really go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well,
No,
no,
you're
it's
good.
just that you have some of that equity to play with. So if you take that question and you set it over here and you go like Haley's saying and go, well, what is it that I really need? What do I want to do? How can I set myself up in the best possible scenario? Okay, well, this is how much I can get for the house in these 3 different categories, and let's set it up to make it work. Then you just backfill in the price, and you're still likely going to be in the black by the time it's all said and done.
Well, and we're gonna, and by the way, we're gonna have 2 episodes. This is a 2-part. It's like the old days we had to wait a week
Yes,
for your
definitely.
episode to come back out. So we're doing that. We're gonna live it with the cliffhanger. Maybe Casey punches me and you go, something like that. So, but we're gonna talk about this next week. But that's the thing that clients always ask me. Real estate is one of my favorite investments. I mean, the downside of it, of course, is the illiquidity. I need 20 grand. I just can't go get 20 grand out of it. There are ways to do that, but.
I would call them.
But I mean, like you take what you were just saying, a $300,000 house, and people are getting frustrated. Well, I didn't go up a whole lot. Well, if you went up 30% in 5 years, this is what people lose.
Yeah.
Like with us, you put in 100,000, you buy a stock, it goes up 30%. You made 30 grand on your 100 grand.
Right.
In real estate, you have leverage. Okay, we all have to have a place to live. We all have to have a roof over our head. So you're going to pay rent, mortgage. You're going to do it anyway. Okay, somewhere. So you buy a $300,000 house. You had to put 20% down. That's 60 grand. I'm doing all this.
Yeah.
That's all my
Rough math.
We'll put a calculator.
You make 30% on 300,000. That's 90 grand. Your investment was 60 grand 5 years ago. So in 5 years, you made 150% return because 90 on $150,000, 150% return, which is tax free, by the way, because it's your residence. When you, so it's like, okay, we didn't go up this year, but to your point, if you've been in your house 4 or 5 years, you've made 100% return, probably more so on your down payment just in the last 5 years. So that's why when people go, why do you like real estate so much, Mike? Because if you can wait, you're always going to make money. Some people can't wait; they want to flip it and do all the things, but it's. Longevity in real estate is on your side. It's just the illiquidity, and that's where we come in.
Exactly, they play together. But yeah, I mean, for your question of like what are prices look like, what is inventory looking like, all that kind of stuff. We're at like a healthy market is supposed to be 6 months of inventory. We haven't seen that in a very long time, and we're still at 4.5.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
I've
so
never seen it.
I mean,
6 years, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
so 6 months is a supposed perfect
Magic.
situation.
Where nobody has
And
leverage.
everybody's
so-
holding hands, walking down the street.
Yeah, and so people are always asking, well, is it a buyer's market?
Right.
Is it a seller's market? And I'm like, well, according to the stat that we're all taught and we're supposed to go off of the 6 months, like, no, it's still a seller's market, but the inventory is sitting longer. We're in between that 60 and 80, 90 days, depending on the price. And then the prices, if you're not doing your price drop strategically and staying current with the market, that's where you're seeing those massive 50, 60, 70 because they didn't keep up with the market in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
So if you're on the market and you're not getting any showings, any activity, anything like that, you have to do a price drop or your house is just
Not gonna be
well,
seen.
not here by itself.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what when I'm 50 now, I'm fixing to be 51, which is crazy. But so when I was in my 30s and 40s, I always knew that the house that we were going into wasn't going to be maybe the last. That's our mindset. Now our parents, they buy a house for 30
The
years
forever
and
home.
they stayed
The
in
forever
it.
home.
And so I always looked at it as, hey, let's get the big kitchen. Let's do things that help us on the sales side.
Yeah.
Of course, when you're married, it's like, no, the hell with you. I want things that are nice.
I need this.
I need this. I need a little
yeah.
coffee bar over there. I'm like, I'm sitting there. That didn't add value to our house, but okay. That was always where my mind was. So, and as I get older, now I'm more like our parents. I'm like, I want to build a house and resale value, great. I mean, I want to sell it for at least what I paid for it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I want to have a house that fits my character. So
Yeah.
are y'all dealing more with couples, I guess that's my question, that are looking at houses as a lifestyle choice or more of a asset building
Yeah.
Yeah.
choice? What are y'all seeing
So-
more of?
C, all of the above.
Yeah, I think because of the property management company, we have a lot of clients that are just pure investors who are going, okay, I need a property that has some value adds that I need to put into it. I want to get in a little bit under so I can put some in, add some equity and do things. So I think a bulk of what we're seeing on that side is obviously, hey, how can I get the most cash flow out of this
Yeah.
property and build that? And then on the other side, it's really, you can speak to this, but I feel like it's more about the commute and more about the lifestyle aspect of the condition, location.
Yeah.
Price is definitely a factor always, but
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I'm sending my kid to this school. I want to be on this side of town. Hey, I want to be over here. I got this commute. I need to be closer to 67 versus 287 or whatever. And so,
And
Never
those
thought
are the.
about that, yeah.
and those are-
Midlothian's so big, it's 25 minutes to just go on one
Everywhere.
side.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, right? From our house to your house
Yeah.
now, right? I mean, it's crazy, but we talk about that a lot. You know, you get married, you have a baby, you get divorced, your job changes. These are life things. Life things are always going to dictate real estate. You have to have a roof. Sometimes there might be like, I would prefer to be within 10-minute drive of the school,
Yeah.
right? Or I have to stay in this county because this is where our life went. And now we both have to stay in this county or whatever it is. So those are always factors. And part of our job, I feel, is to help ask all these questions that you're asking and make sure you're not buying that house because you love the white picket fence and that was your goal, but now you have an hour and a half commute because you couldn't get over the picket fence. Like, are we talking about all of the
we
things?
could have built a picket fence.
Like, we could build one, okay?
Right.
You know, like, you can't not buy that house because that wall is purple. Like, we can change that wall. Like, paint's cheap. So, making sure that we're understanding what their lifestyle goal is and are we actually matching it? Because it has to be picture perfect right now. You don't want to touch a thing when you walk in there. You're going to want to change something in that house. Even if you just bought it, you built it yourself, you're going to get in there and be like, man, I really should add 4 hooks over there, too. Right? Like,
Yeah.
something's going to change. Just help. It's our job as your advisor through this to make sure that we're asking all the questions, making sure that you're not only buying for the picture perfect lifestyle, that we've thought about all of the things.
That's how you could always tell somebody's from Texas. You just ask them, how far is it to Dallas? People from outside of Texas say 30 miles. We say about 45 minutes.
Yep.
That's how you know.
That's how you know. And that's
Oh,
like,
in
when they say 30 minutes
time,
ago.
not miles.
Where are you from, California?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm gonna give you the side eye.
yeah,
sorry.
I know, I'm sorry. That's how we talk, and I mean, all the time, y'all.
Yeah.
You probably both see me do it. I'm
How
like,
far is Kroger? 20
Dallas,
minutes?
Fort
Yeah.
Worth, Midlothian.
Yeah.
You're in a 30-minute,
Yeah.
45-minute drive in each direction. So if you're commuting, that's what makes it such a hot spot. That's why we have so much
Yeah.
building happening, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And now another factor of lifestyle is work from home,
Yeah.
and
For
so
sure. Everybody wants an office.
everybody wants an office. And
No more dining rooms. It's all. That's what I've heard.
ours
Dining
is a
rooms are-
playroom.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's probably the most common question I get when we're showing is, how can I turn this formal dining room
Oh God.
into an office if it doesn't have it, right?
Yeah.
Or like
and it's
French
like, well,
doors.
Right.
French doors here and maybe some drywall over that door.
Yeah.
We'll call it a day. But that's what people are doing is they're kind of retrofitting the formal into an office, which
And we've had,
honestly, like that's
yeah.
what our parents did. If
is
you can make
great.
it work, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
and we've had even families that are like, well, one needs an office at home all the time, but we also need a space for the other to work from home because they're half and half. And I'm like,
On
The
the hybrid
I'm like, okay,
situation.
so now, I mean, this is a normal conversation that we're having where it's like, we don't technically need 2 offices, but we need 2 workspaces.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
So you need an
So we
extra
need
bedroom,
6
even though you don't have that
bedrooms.
3rd or 4th kid.
right,
Well,
yeah.
and even us at the house when we're
Yeah.
not here and we're just at the house, she'll be in the front bedroom office, and then I'm at the kitchen table, just depending on how the and we
Good
just kind
interview.
of
Say, hey, babe.
Yeah.
Where'd you get a this? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If we're not
When's
right next
lunch?
to each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a better question. Are you gonna feed me today? But anyways, we got a little off. But that's part of our job is to help make sure we're asking those questions, and then making sure if you are on the investment side and you're trying to make sure that we're not just buying to the lifestyle that you're perfectly wanting. That's when we circle back to y'all and we say, hey, y'all need to call Mike and Casey and make sure that if we do these things, you're gonna have the funds left over from the sale to hit this, and this, or whatever it is. I mean, it really is a effort there together on both sides.
I would say, and Casey, I want you to speak to this. I would say that has been the hardest and also the best advice that we can, because of course, you get, again, I'm getting closer to that, but the generation right above us, a 65-year-old and older that are retiring right now, they have these houses that a lot of times that their kids grew up in and all that, and it's 35 years, and it's, sorry, not to pick on the one lady on the podcast today, it's always mama. Well, I don't want to move, my kids.
It's emotional.
We did Easter egg hunts there, we did barbecues there, we did slip and slide there, that's where Tommy broke his arm, but... And it's all that, and I get all that, but it's a 3,000 square foot house that if you still have on a mortgage, which you shouldn't if you're retired and been in the same house, but if you still have a mortgage, it's maybe got 50 grand on it, it's worth 500. The advice I give is if you sell it, let's downsize, pay for something outright, and then use that 100,000 to buy the RV or whatever of your dreams, and if that's your goal, or put 100,000 into a vacation account, let it earn interest, and 5 to 6% interest on an account pays for a $5,000 to $6,000 vacation without having to touch your principal. And it's tax free because it's your house. So I don't know. I've had a lot of clients like that. The hardest part is they all agree to it. It's on paper, sounds great.
But then when we get to the actual,
and then it's mama, and it's like, no, we're not doing it.
Or it's like,
especially a 2-story house. You're 65. I don't want to go upstairs
don't go
now.
up the stairs. Yeah, we have a lot of that, and the other layer of that is when a lot of times they come in for advice on like when do we need to change or when do we need to get ready for it. And if you have like the grandkid hallway of pictures, I'm always like, I love this hallway and it's fabulous, and also we need to take it down. And it's hard on us too because we are very referral based, right? I mean, so are y'all. Like we're very referral based, and so typically when we walk in there, we know this person a little bit, right? We have some form of relationship there, and I'm like, please don't be mad at me, but I need you to move all this stuff. But because if you're bringing us in, it's to cash out on your investment, right? It's to capitalize on.
You're not bringing us in and give us decoration tips. I'm going to tell you how to sell this place.
Yeah, it's for that investment that you made however many years ago, and now we're going to capitalize on it, and that's why we're there. And so it is emotional, and a lot of times that's where we balance each other very well. And so he's very good with emotions. If y'all not know that. Therapist background. And so,
because I'm the exact opposite. I'm the exact opposite. Emotions. I was just getting away. I was talking about.
But like it sounds cheesy, but whenever you just simply say like this is normal, what you're feeling is normal. Most people are emotionally connected to their house. Something happened there.
I think there's a ton of similarities. When you said that, it made me think of like our business models are fairly similar in the sense of you don't just work with a client one time, right? It is a long-term relationship that you're building. And when we're walking into these homes with people and I'm looking at the countertops and I'm going, okay, well, if we were to pop those out, there's probably another $15K that we can build in equity, right? And they're going, oh my God, but we could bring Susie home and Johnny and we could do all that. And they're in the emotional side of it. And I'm going, okay, no, that's great. Yes, that's true. And also we can add some value here, we can add some value here. And maybe this house works or maybe it doesn't. But the truth is that we're there to ensure that they get the best possible house, the best possible price, that's going to fit the needs in the best way. And then down the line, if they have to sell it, they're ideally they're positioned to be able to do that. And there are more times than not where we've walked into properties and just been like, hey, I get it. It fits the bill. However, these things are going to kill you and we shouldn't buy this one. And in the same way, like you're human focused, human over houses is our company motto. That you're taking care of the human, and like you're not gonna advise your client to do a bad investment because it's gonna make you more money. In the end, whatever money you would have made on that one transaction, you're gonna make probably
they're gonna refer you to 3 different.
I mean it's people first, it's human first, and it's really important.
If you do if you do everything you can for your client,
you help somebody get
it comes back to you one way or the other. Well, I mean, I think we're getting up to the end of our time, but one thing I definitely wanted to close with is I am kind of excited. I'm kind of seeing a little bit more signs. If you drive to downtown Dallas, as we did over last weekend, there's cranes everywhere. And that's something that economists have always told me is you want to see what city is killing it, look for the cranes. It isn't like China where they build buildings and nobody's in them. I mean, there's cranes everywhere. I think this part of the nation right now is still prospering. I think a lot of businesses are moving here, Austin, Houston, and that's interesting about the commute. Especially, I think we're kind of a hidden gem that the word's gotten out.
County.
Because you can go to Fort Worth just as quick as you can to Dallas. Now, and you can be in Arlington, go to a Cowboy game within 30 minutes. It's all the things. 30 minutes, not 30 miles. So. 30 minutes.
That's how you know you're true Texan.
But did you have anything that you wanted to say to wrap up, and then?
No, I think that was good. I mean, we can. The only thing I was going to ask specifically was like, do you see any windows of like sales price that are like staying on the market longer? Like, is there a sale price that is more difficult right now to move than?
Well, I think it's just the first-time homebuyer price is not what it used to be, right? We got into our house for $200. That is like ridiculous. Okay,
Can't do that now.
first-time homebuyer
About
prices.
condominium for 2
I know, and so first-time homebuyer prices are creeping up so much that if you're kind of over that 500, we're almost a different bracket. Because now first-time homebuyers are in that 350 range, especially in our area.
Yeah.
Or if they want to build something, I mean, it's 450 and up. So because that kind of starting point has increased, now your over 500 stuff, it's a different strategy. Where it used to be more like, okay, if we're 250 here, if we're 350,
No, it's basically up to 0 to 500 is basically your
exactly
Yeah.
because it's structured so differently. And so, and the principles still are the same. You have to have somebody that's willing to pay that price for it,
Right.
or it's not going to sell. You can't change the location of it.
No.
You can do the condition within your ability. There's certain things where you're going to draw the line. I'm not going to change those things.
Yeah.
And then it's all about price. And so now it's just because that first-time homebuyer price is not what it used to be.
Right.
That's how it's just different now. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of the under 500 we're kind of doing one thing, over we're kind of strategizing a little bit differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Well, I don't know how to do this, but we're going to put their website and their phone number
Yes,
at
we
the
will.
bottom of our
Yes.
podcast. I just wanted to thank Colton and Haley, y'all, for being here. We're going to have episode 2 next week. A little bit be a little bit more animated. We're going to talk about the investment side of real estate and all those good things. But again, thank y'all so much for coming.
Thank you for
And
having
That
us.
was great.
if you didn't know, I saw their podcast and I thought it was so good that we had to copy it, and now we
We need to do it
we
too.
suck. But we're getting it. So.
Y'all are doing great. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.